It is Monday, December 1st. You're watching the Sick Podcast, Trust the Process. The Habs have just come back from a 3-game road trip with 4 points in the bank. Yes, they did get smoked by the Colorado Avalanche, but really, who doesn't? The Laval Rocket are now 14-6 this season and are first in the North Division. They are rolling. Folks, it's going to be a positive Monday as we tease Snake went down to Boston, specifically to watch Harvard versus Michigan, because there's a certain Michael Hage that plays for the Michigan Wolverines. We're going to talk about him. We're also going to discuss Ivan Demidov's ice time. It's been a concern among the Habs fan base recently. We're going to see if maybe he should get more. Maybe it's the right amount. We're going to discuss all of that. Afterwards, we have a nice little topic suggested by one of you in the chat, okay, about goalies. I'm not going to say too much just yet. And later on, we're going to get to our mailbag. We have 2 questions today. It's going to be a fun show, Snake, and it all starts right here, right now.
Turn up your volume. Because you're about to listen to The Sick Podcast. Trust the process. The sickest NHL prospect podcast with Snake and Shayne.
With the 5th overall selection in the 2024 NHL Draft, the Montreal Canadiens are proud to select Ivan Demidov.
It's gonna be sick.
That's right. Producer Shane here, joined as always by my co-host, Simon the Snake Boisvert. Snake, how are we feeling today?
A little bit tired from my trip back to Boston because of the weather, but overall very happy to talk about a great weekend at Harvard University.
Yeah, I think you're playing it light there. You just came back from an over a 5-hour road trip from Boston. So that is dedication, my friend. And yeah, like you mentioned, the weather was not so great. Yeah.
I mean, I do this in October. It's 4 hours away from my house. And I mean, it's nothing. But with the snow and, cars turned over next to the highway. I think people were going a little bit fast for, considering that there was like 1 or 2 inches of snow on the ground. But it's good. The police were everywhere. And I think they took good care of people.
Well, I'm happy you're safe. I'm happy you're okay. But I mean, clearly these people haven't been watching the eye test, and they haven't gone to Point S to get their GT radial tires. Okay, let's just say that. No, that is over by now. Everyone in Quebec better have their winter tires. If you don't, you're in trouble. But anyways, back to why you were on this road trip, Snake. You went to see 2 Harvard games against the Michigan Wolverines. More specifically, to key in on Michael Hage, right? Yeah. You like to see players live, and it's always better to see them live. You get to see certain aspects that you don't necessarily see on television or on video. And so let me get your general thoughts on his performance. 6 points in 2 games. Obviously, the stat sheet kind of jumps at you. He scored a beautiful goal. Of course, his go-to, right, down the left flank, high glove side. He's pretty dangerous with that move there. But what have you seen from him this weekend?
Well, Michigan, first of all, is a great team. It's one of the best teams, if not the best team in the country. Yeah. They were staying at my hotel. I got to talk to a couple of guys. Unfortunately, not Michael Hage. I wasn't running around the hotel for him, but I just bumped into players over the weekend.
Which one?
I think they are very, very confident. I spoke with the backup goalie.
Okay.
And there's another couple of guys. I don't recognize the faces necessarily. I know it's not Will Horkoff because the guy was in 6'5". They gave me their name, but it was just general talk. Okay. And I told them I was doing a podcast and I was a scout and everything. So we got to talk a little bit. Poor backup goalie hasn't played yet because Ivankovic is playing. Yeah, he's playing every game. Look, they have a great team. I think on Thursday we can talk about Horkoff, Ivankovic, Valentini, all these guys. Today we're going to focus on Michael Hage, but I have some things to say about the other players because there were lots of future NHLers on the ice.
For sure.
On the Harvard side, what was interesting is that it was all a bunch of sons of former players. Langenbrunner, you remember this guy?
Oh, yeah, Jamie Langen. Yeah, wow.
Martin Saint-Louis' son was there.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Nice.
So anyway, a bunch of other players. So we'll talk about it on Thursday. But for Michael Hage, look, Michael Hage, if you look at a game, the best plays, the greatest plays of the game, it's always Michael Hage doing it. You saw the goal.
Oh,
The assist in overtime for Will Horkoff's goal. I mean, Will Horkoff is scoring a lot of goals this year, but he needs a centerman. And Michael Hage played center, by the way, all weekend long. So there was no such thing as playing the wing. He was playing center. He fed Horkoff very well throughout the game. I think Michael Hage's biggest strength is his passing game.
yeah.
The guy is an NHL caliber passer right now. His vision is very, very good. And I would say it's his sense of anticipation. The guy knows where the play is going to be like 2-3 seconds down the road. He knows how to position himself well. He can spot players that are open. You know, like a quarterback will see his wide receivers, very quickly. Yeah. So I think this is probably his biggest strength: anticipation and passing. His skating is okay. I mean, it's nothing. It's not something you notice. It's not spectacular. It's not elite, but it's fine. So this is something you don't really notice. He has a great shot. Yeah. So that's something else. But I think he can be as good a playmaker as he is a scorer. So probably an even better playmaker. Now, do I think he's going to stay at center? I think he has a chance of staying at center. Now, will he be a second line center, a third line center? Maybe at first a third line center in Montreal, because the jump between the NCAA and the NHL is not easy. But within a couple of years, he could be a number 2 center. That we'll see, because it always depends on who the Habs acquire. There will be trades. Right. There will be trades. As the Habs get better and better, there will be trades. So it's very hard to predict where a guy is going to stand on the depth chart 3-4 years down the road. However, look, I would fall out of my chair if this guy weren't a top 9 in the NHL. So to me, this is an NHLer, and a good NHLer. That's the, what you call it? That's the floor.
Yeah,
that's the
pretty good. Yeah, pretty good.
Considering the guy was drafted 21st overall, when you draft a guy 21st overall, you expect a middle of the lineup player. So I think that's his floor, middle of the lineup player. Now, if he could be a regular top 6 center playing 18 to 20 minutes, I think it's a strong possibility. So that's for the good. My only little concern I have with Michael Hage is the level of intensity is not consistent, in the sense that he doesn't really go for puck battles. I know he doesn't have to. Not every player has to fight like crazy for pucks on the boards. There are players who have that role, that particular role on a team. So I'm not saying, but sometimes I would like to see him more engaged. Like I remember the first period on Saturday, basically didn't see him. And like I said, I don't need the guy to make great plays every shift on the ice, but sometimes there are players where you see that every shift, they work very, very hard. This guy, he paces himself and a little bit on the periphery. So I would say it's probably my only concern, because the NHL is a tough league.
Yeah.
And I think that will be the difference between his floor and his ceiling. It's not the skill level.
It's the engagement.
Yeah, it's the engagement. The engagement will decide if he's a bona fide top 6 player or a top 9 guy. Skill wise, he's a top 6 player. I mean,
it's undeniable.
It's undeniable. So a very good pick. Look, 21st overall. I liked him. I liked him quite a bit. I think I had him like 17 or 18th his draft year, because of his skills, his hands. His hands are great. That I forgot to mention, but his great hands. So look, it was a great pick, and looking forward to seeing him in Montreal. He's probably going to play a couple of games, I would think. Although Michigan, you don't know with the NCAA tournament. There have been upsets before, but I think Michigan is going to get through the final weekend. The final weekend is April 11th and April 13th. I think the Habs will have maybe, 1 or 2 games left at that time. Not even sure. So, because if he signs, he's going to burn 1 year of his ELC contract.
Mm-hmm.
So I can see Michael Hage. Now, Laval or Montreal this year. And next year, I think he will have every chance to make the team.
Oh, yeah.
Personally, I would start him in Montreal next year.
I mean, you look at the center depth right now, Snake. The
Yeah.
opportunity is there, right? It's not like the team is loaded on the middle, and okay, you got this, promising up and coming player. You let him cook in the AHL a little bit. The Habs, are thin at center. Let's be honest here. And to your point, the Habs play their last game on April 14th, and before that, April 12th and 11th. So he could potentially play three.
Look, it depends on what happened with if they make the Frozen Four. If they make the Frozen Four and they get eliminated on Thursday night, he could play the April 14th game.
That's it.
But if they go to the finals on the 13th, we've seen it before, but I doubt he will be in the lineup the night after. I doubt it.
Unlikely, but
yeah. But could he make his debut in the playoffs? I mean, as Yves Bouillon did last year.
Yeah, that's a way to come in. Well, on the topic, Snake, let me ask you. I'm curious. Do you think it's actually more beneficial for Michael Hage to go far with Michigan this season, or for the season to end early and make the transition to the NHL and have more games with the Habs?
Look, from what I've seen in previous years from players who jump from the NCAA to the NHL at the end of the year, and there's quite a few, because as teams get eliminated, players sign contracts, play like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 games. Look, I wish for him that he wins a championship, because it's fun. It's fun for him. For his development, I don't think it would make much of a difference. But for Habs fans who are like eager to see him on the ice, get eliminated in the first round or second round and play 6, 7 games. That would be good. But I think overall, look, let Michigan be Michigan. And anyway, we have no control over it. I mean, so a championship would be good. And that team is very, very, very strong. Very strong.
Juggernaut. Juggernaut. They've improved significantly from last year. And that kind of ties into my next question about Hage, Snake, because last season was a good season for Michael Hage, right? First year in the NCAA, did really well. But this season, he's taken a significant step. 26 points in 18 games. Is ridiculous. And he's a plus 12. Now, of course, we have to put context into the situation, because Michigan got so much better that, of course, he's going to benefit from that. But is there more so an improvement of the player or an improvement of the team, you think?
Well, I think it's both. But good players make good teams, and good teams help good players be better.
Okay.
If you know what I mean. I think like Gavin McKenna, I think they have a good team in Penn State, but I don't necessarily think that the mix on offense is great for him. Whereas Hage has Will Horkoff next to him. Will Horkoff is a goal scorer. He's a tall guy, not necessarily a big physical guy, but he's a tall guy. You can't miss him. That's why I said I was looking over for him at the hotel. I knew
6'5",
if there was a 6'5" guy, I knew it was going to be Horkoff.
He's huge.
But it does help Michael Hage, because he's confident that if he makes a nice pass, it could convert to a couple of goals. Because I remember I after the first period, I spoke with some fans from Montreal who were there to see Michael Hage. And, they're hockey fans, so they were curious about Horkoff. And I said, they say, Horkoff, what do you think? And we didn't see him much in the first period. And I said, look, whatever. He's going to score a couple of goals. And he did. And that's what happened. So I think it does help Michael Hage, but Hage helps Horkoff look good a lot. Now, for Michael Hage and his statistics, you have to be careful also, because he had 7 points in the first weekend against, like, basically a punching bag of a team. And Harvard is an okay team. It's not a great team, but it's an okay team. Look, they came back on Saturday. It was 3-0 after 2 periods, and they were just cruising. And at some point, Michigan basically slept through the third period, and it became 3-1, 3-2, 3-3, and then they had to wake up. So look, if you look at all this, what would it make? It would make Hage more than a point per game player if you ignore the 7 points during the first weekend. He's still over a point per game, isn't he?
Yeah, that would be 19 points in 19 points in 16 games. Yeah.
Now, is the next step the World Junior Championship?
That's a big one.
That's the question. Because there's a lot of mock lineups that are being done, by Pronman and Wheeler and all these guys. And I think what it is right now, the way I understand it, they're not going to have a selection camp. They're going to choose 25 to 27 players this year that they're going to bring. And since the tournament is in the state, it's going to be very easy for them to cut players as NHL teams make players available.
Right. Yeah.
And there's also AHL teams, but I don't think there's any Canadian junior age player playing in the AHL. I know there are American players and or players from other countries like Sweden. Buffalo, I think, has 2 Swedish guys, or Finnish guys. But right now there are 9 underage players in the National Hockey League. You can forget about Schaefer, Celebrini, and probably Beckett, Seneca. So that's 6 guys left. Those 6 guys will probably influence if a guy like Hage and many others make the team or not. So Hage might be announced as one of the 25, 27 players. I'm sure he will. But then where is he on the depth chart so that when they get the NHL players back, if they do, are they going to cut him or not? But look, I like the idea. No selection camp. I think these selection camps, they're so, they play a couple of games against some varsity teams, and then they decide, oh, well, this guy wasn't good yesterday, we're going to cut him. Okay, that's ridiculous. You have to look at the body of work of those players so far during the season in their junior leagues. And I would say that Hage deserves to be on the team. But again, we'll see. If so many NHL players become available, they have no choice.
No. That's it. And listen, the World Junior, Team Canada selection topic is going to be one that we're going to cover thoroughly in the
very controversial in the last few years.
Oh, I mean,
but again, we're always being harsh on Hockey Canada, and I'm the first one to criticize, a few of their selections every year, and I wonder why they don't have more offense, and they take Cole Baudouin over and over and over because he's a good defensive player. I don't see the purpose of it, but let's face it, okay? You put Macklin Celebrini and Matthew Schaefer on that team this year.
It's over.
It's over.
But,
the rules are the rules. You have to deal with what you have. And it probably makes the tournament more fun because imagine if Canada had all their best players available like they did during a couple of lockouts in previous years. I remember in 2005, when the NHL was locked out. I mean, it was a joke. Sidney Crosby was on the fourth line.
Come on. Yeah, no, it's ridiculous.
No, but it shows how strong the team was.
Of course.
Yeah. So, no, but for Hage, I'm glad I went to see him. I like what I saw. And, just a little bit more engagement and player.
Exactly. One last question I have on Michael Hage, and then we'll move on. I know it's early, but a lot of fans try to project the lineups and what the Habs have, organizationally, depth-wise. And so you look at the type of player that Michael Hage is. I'm not telling you to name names, okay? But I'm asking, which kind of players would he thrive with? Like, what kind of wingers would he be best with? What do you think?
Look, right now he's thriving with Horkoff. Horkoff is a goal scorer, but a 6'5" goal scorer. Would he thrive with Cole Caulfield? Perhaps. I mean, any good centerman would thrive with Cole Caulfield because he can't put the puck in the net. But I think you need a bigger guy with them. Okay. So could we have, I'm just throwing ideas like this, a Hage, Caulfield, I don't know, Slavkovsky line or something like that. I know Suzuki and Caulfield have been playing together forever, but I do not think that this is carved in stone for the next 5-6 years. As the Habs get Hage, Zorovsky, Demidov getting, basically maturing, getting better. Yep. We've already seen it. I mean, Slav is playing with Demidov and Kapanen right now. Mm-hmm. So who knows what's going to happen? But yeah, the easy answer would probably be Caulfield, but who knows? Maybe it'll be Zorovsky.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm. Could be
There's
Zorovsky.
options. There's options.
There's options.
You know what? Martin St. Louis, I'm sure, will find a way to make Michael Hage useful and productive at the NHL level. Moving on now, Snake, to one of the players you mentioned there in the options for a Michael Hage winger. It's Ivan Demidov, okay?
Yeah.
Now, having a fantastic rookie season, 19 points so far this season. He's tied for first with Seneca and Schaefer. I think Schaefer is still the front runner for the Calder. What he's doing is pretty crazy. But anyways, on Demidov now. We remember before he got to the NHL, when he was with SKA in the KHL, right? The whole fan base, I'll include myself in there, ripping her hair out, saying, my God, like, why is this guy not getting any ice time? He was on the fourth line, getting like 6 minutes a game, no power play, just random ice times. It was really weird. And we were all celebrating, saying, oh, finally he's getting to the NHL and he's got a good coach. He's going to get ice time. Well, in the last 5 games, okay, against Colorado, he had 14 minutes and 12 seconds. Okay. Against Vegas, he had 12 minutes and 7 seconds. Against Utah, he had 12 minutes and 52 seconds. Against Toronto, he had 14 minutes and 39 seconds. And against Washington, he had 15 minutes and 7 seconds. Those were his last 5 games. And in his last 5 games, he has 5 points. With those ice times, he's been able to score 2 goals and 3 assists. Now, of course, the fact that he's been taken off the first power play wave has cut down his minutes. That's a given, right? But do you still think he should be getting more ice time? Is he being used properly right now?
Well, I think the major problem the Habs have right now, and we've just mentioned it, is at center. So if you're going to play Demidov for 20 minutes, let's say, do you want to have Kapanen for 20 minutes on the ice?
No disrespect to Oliver, who's having a decent, productive season here, but no.
And I mean, poor Kapanen. I mean, he shouldn't be on the second.
It's not his chair. It's
not his chair, but it's not his fault. I mean, he's just a victim of the depth chart right now, and it's a temporary thing with the Habs because at some point they will have centermen, whether it's Michael Hage or by trade or something. But right now, as we speak, in December 2025, he's there by default. So maybe that's one of the reasons. Also, he's a rookie. You don't necessarily want to throw a rookie to the wolves night in, night out. Maybe they want to shelter him a little bit. I really don't know. I'm not in Martin St. Louis' head. The ice time also has to be deserved. I mean, do you think that he deserves more ice time? What's your opinion?
It's honestly very hard to kind of explain the situation because he's producing, right? He's actually impacting the game, right? But when he's not producing, is he doing everything else right?
That's the thing.
And I can't say that he is all the time. He's an excellent player, and he absolutely belongs in the top 6 already. But there's still a lot of learning to do. All right, positioning, puck battles, defensively, it's all gonna come. I'm not worried whatsoever. But I'm not freaking out about the ice time personally.
No, me neither. It's good. It doesn't matter.
It's situational. Okay, like you mentioned, he's not. It's unfortunate because that line, his chemistry with Slavkovsky is palpable. Like it's really there.
Yeah.
What a play! Those two have been connecting really well.
Yeah.
So you kind of do want them on the ice a little more. But again, if you're taking defensive zone draws, you're not going to put them out for that. You're only going to put them out for offensive zone draws. So again, it's situational. It's matchups as well. They're playing on the road. there's a lot of things that go into that. And again, against Washington, he had 15 minutes. I think that's really good. So, the whole fan base criticizing Martin. Well, not the whole fan base, but a large portion of the fan base criticizing Martin.
Well, we want to see him on the ice as much as possible. If you pay for a ticket, you want to see Demidov because he's a highlight reel guy. He might not be a well-rounded player right now, but he's a highlight reel guy nonetheless.
If you want to win games, right?
Yeah, also,
it's a chess match. It's not checkers, right? So every shift matters. Okay, what's the matchup here? What's the situation? Mm-hmm. Where's the zone? Where's the draw taken? All of that, I think, gets taken out of context, and that's why people kind of freak out and they just look at the ice time. They're like, "What the hell? Like, he should be playing way more." Well, you know what? When the situation is propice, en bon français, he does play. Like against Washington, he had 15 minutes. He does
when it's conducive to doing this. Yeah. Look, sometimes I watch. You know how I watch a lot of non-NHL players, and I watch their shifts because if there's one player per team. Why would I watch the entire game if I'm only looking for one player or if I'm focusing on someone? And sometimes I look at ice time before I watch and I'm like, oh man, 14 minutes. What the heck is this? 14 minutes. I want to see him more. And then I look at the shifts and I try and see what happened between the shifts. And like you say, offensive zone starts. Is he on the road? What's the score? Sometimes the guy's team takes a lot of penalties. Mm-hmm. So that reduces ice time when you go when you have a player when you have like maybe 10 minutes of 1-man disadvantage situations. So I don't worry too much. The only thing is ice time, I think at the end of the year is reflected of what the coaches think of you. That's why sometimes you see defensemen who are going to play like 23, 24 minutes and you're thinking, why? The guy only has 19 points. Yeah, but then you watch the guy play. You watch the situations, like you say, and you're like, okay, that's why this guy played 24 minutes all year long. Mm-hmm. Come playoff time, sometimes you look at this and you're like, okay, why is this guy playing so much? Like I say, he had 19 points, but it's very useful.
Exactly.
So look, like you, I do not worry. It's his rookie season. It's fine. It's all good. Look, the Habs are not a finished product.
Far from it.
I understand that some fans are a little bit impatient because the Habs made the playoffs last year. So it's more like, okay, let's accelerate this and let's get better. Let's win one round this year. And it's okay. It doesn't matter. Even if the Habs don't make the playoffs or miss the playoffs, by, 2 points or they will lose in the first round, it doesn't matter. You have to look because, a guy like Kapanen will not be the 2C.
No.
So it doesn't matter. I'm a very patient guy when it comes to team building, team roster construction. I'm very, very patient, but I want to see progress from the young players.
That's why we call the show Trust the Process.
Exactly.
Trust the process, okay? It will all come together. Moving along now, we've done this before, but we're going to do it again because one of our viewers sent in this comment here, and it's a suggestion for a topic, and we really like it. We're going to kind of dive into it a little bit here. So from GRB88, it says, great show, guys, again. Thank you. An idea for a future topic. Since goalies are hard to project at a younger age, can you go through a 10-year period and compare the top 4 or 5 goalies drafted each year compared to the top 4 or 5 goalies having the better NHL career? Might be interesting to see the results. I couldn't agree more. Snake, we both kind of did some digging here, gathered up the data, and we're going to analyze it. Kick us off.
Well, first of all, year in, year out, you're going to have between 16 and 30 goalies chosen overall. Mm-hmm. So not even one per team, but some years it's almost one per team. The Habs have been choosing a lot of goalies, and I think that this exercise will show that a third-round pick like Jacob Fowler has a much better chance of becoming a star than Lucas Vedemo, let's say, chosen in the third round.
Wow.
It's an example. But you know what? Yeah, but you know what? I could multiply this by hundreds of players who have been chosen in the third round or fourth round. But goalies, I'm not saying they're all going to be good, because there might be like 17 goalies chosen between rounds 3 and 7, and only 2 might become good. But what I mean is that when we go through the list, listeners will see that, oh, okay, third round guy, oh, sixth round guy. Whereas with forwards and defensemen, I mean, the chances are very, very slim. So what are the chances of Jacob Fowler becoming a star goalie? I think these, I don't know about a percentage, but I think the chances are good. Okay, so what I did, we were asked by the listener to do a 10-year study. I did the 10-year period between 2010 and 2019. Why did I stop at 2019? Because I figured, the guys drafted in 2020 are only 23 years old right now, and most goalies are not number one goalies at that age. So globally, I would say I'm going to go with global stats first, then with names. There were 7 goalies picked in the first round between 2010 and 2019.
Ooh.
They were Jack Campbell, Mark Visentin, Andrei Vasilevsky, Malcolm Subban, Ilya Samsonov, Jake Ottinger, Spencer Knight. I would say it's a mixed bag.
3 out of 4. I'll call it that. 3 out of 4.
Yeah. So then in the second round, there were more goalies picked. There were 7, 11, 16, 21, 22, 27. Look, close to 30 guys, 30 or 32 guys picked. So that's an average of 3 per year. Again, a very mixed bag. You're going to have guys like John Gibson, for instance. But you also have a guy like Chris Gibson. You see what I mean? You have Tristan Jarry, Anatoly Stolars, but you have also Oscar Dansk.
Yeah.
So you see, Zachary Fucali was a second-round pick for the Habs.
Very promising.
I liked him. He's doing well in the KHL. I guess he's probably making a lot of money in the KHL right now, because otherwise, I'm surprised that no team is offering anything for the NHL. But maybe they can guarantee him a job in the NHL, and he makes more money in the KHL than he would in the AHL. Because look, the guy has had a cup of coffee in the NHL with Washington. Yeah. He was pretty good.
Oh yeah, I remember.
I think this guy. I don't know. I don't think they developed him very well. They were not very good years in Hamilton at the time when the Habs had their farm team over there. They were not a good team. But anyway, all this to say that, he was one of them. You also had guys like Eric Comrie, Thatcher Demko, Alex Nedeljkovic, Vitek Vanacek, Mackenzie Blackwood, Carter Hart, Philip Gustafsson, UPL, Lukanen in Buffalo, Kochetkov. But you also had guys like Hunter Jones, Evan Fitzpatrick, Matt Sogard, Mason McDonald. The list goes on. So again, a mixed bag. Now, what's interesting, in rounds 3 to 7, I will give you names that will make you go, oh my God, these guys were not top 2 round picks. Frederick Anderson, drafted twice, once in the 7th round and then in the 3rd round. You had Matt Murray, Jonas Korpisalo, Linus Ullmark, Connor Hellebuck, 5th round.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Laurent Brossoit, 6th round. Anton Forsberg, 7th round. I mean, they're not stars, but they became NHL goalies. Yeah. Jordan Binnington, 3rd round. Scott Wedgwood, doing great with Colorado, but who wouldn't right now? But still. Philip Grubauer, 4th round. Peter Mrazek, for better or worse, 5th round. I mean, the guy is a career. I mean, he's been highly criticized wherever he went, but he had good moments. UC Saros, 4th round. Elvis Merzlikins, 3rd round. Ilya Sorokin, 3rd round. Ville Husso, 4th round. Kakkonen, playing for Laval, 4th round. Igor Shesterkin, 4th round. Aiden Hill, third round. Samuel Montembeault, third round. Karel Vemelka, fifth round. Joey Decord, seventh round. Joe Wool, third round. Jeremy Swayman, fourth round. Stuart Skinner, third round, for better or worse.
Yeah.
Lucas Dostal, third round.
Oh, that's
and then, Dustin Wolf, seventh round.
yeah, crazy.
So
That's wild.
So you see, but look, there's a lot of guys drafted between rounds 3 and 7 who didn't make it. So I'm only going through the best ones. But I'm saying that proportionally, I think you're going to have more impact goalies or regular goalies during those rounds than defensemen or especially forwards. Because forwards are kind of easy to scout.
Yeah.
And the NHL does a very good job at it. And it's very rare that someone will slip through the cracks. Whereas with goalies, it's just, anything goes. Anything goes. Rarely will you see a 6th-round pick or a 5th-round pick win a Hart Trophy. But you can have a 5th-round pick win a Vizina Trophy. So I know you went a little bit further. You had players chosen in the 2020s on your list. Maybe we can go through some of them and see what their future looks like.
Yeah, well, I went ahead and kept going.
Some of them has already started. I think we're going to talk about Walston, obviously, in Minnesota.
Oh, there's a few of them. So I kept going. I was curious, what the future could look like. And I only looked at the top 3 drafted goalies from 2020 to 2025. Now, in 2020, 11th overall, the Nashville Predators selected Yaroslav Askarov, who's now with the San Jose Sharks, having a good year. And then 46th overall, Chicago Blackhawks selected Drew Comesso, not in the NHL.
Nope.
And then 52nd overall, Pittsburgh Penguins selected Joel Blomqvist, not in the NHL.
No.
Right? So, again, it's one guy so far in the NHL. And 5 years later, takes time.
And Askarov just started.
He just started. That's it. It's his first
He's had a very good sequence recently, but overall, he has ups and downs, this guy.
Still not perfect. Exactly.
Still not.
2021 now. 15th overall, Detroit Red Wings selected Sebastian Cossa, who, listen, he's been killing it in the AHL, but he's been in the AHL for how long, Snike?
Well, he went to ECHL. He went back to junior hockey. He went to the ECHL. I mean, he's been developing forever, which is fine. He's a goalie.
And then after that, the one that the Edmonton Oilers fan base is probably kicking themselves about. 20th overall, the Minnesota Wild selected Jesper Wallstedt, who is on fuego this season. Finally. It took a while. We've been waiting for this.
I had almost given up on him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Crazy. But no, he's doing really well. And then the third goalie drafted in 2021, 78th overall from the Philadelphia Flyers, was Alexei Kolosov.
Mm-hmm.
So he's had some time.
Yeah.
But he hasn't done much.
Nope.
So again, it's a crapshoot. Like, you never know what's going to happen. Now, moving on, 2022 and onwards, none of them have broken through, right? I mean, 2022 was a rough year. Like, 41st overall, Buffalo took Topias Lenonen. Yeah. 58th overall, Seattle Kraken took Nicholas Coco. Potential there, I don't know. And then it goes to 102nd overall. It wasn't a good year for goalies there. No. The Devils selected Tyler Brennan. Nothing, not much happening there in general. 2023, 35th overall, Chicago Blackhawks took Adam Gajan. 38th overall, the Arizona Coyotes, now the Utah Mammoth, took Michael Rabel with UMass. He's with UMass, right?
Yeah, he's good. He's good. He's
doing well.
He's a good one. Well. He's a very good one. Yeah.
2023 was actually a decent year. Now, 41st overall, Detroit took Trey Augustine.
Yeah.
Excellent. Good prospect. What he's doing, right? So again, it's people saying that Jacob Fowler should be in the HL right now. That was his draft year right there.
Yeah.
Right. There isn't a single goalie there in the NHL.
No rush.
Most of them are still actually playing juniors or college.
Yeah.
So it's pretty funny to see how it goes. Now, obviously the next few ones, we're going to wait a long time to see. 2024, Colorado Avalanche took Ilya Nabokov, 38th overall.
Not a bad prospect. Yeah.
I'm seeing a trend with Russians, however.
Mhm.
49th overall, the Devils took Mikhail Yegorov.
That's a good one. That's a very good one. Yeah.
And then 57th overall, that's a pick that used to belong to the Montreal Canadiens that they traded to the LA Kings to move up to draft Michael Hage, is Carter George.
Yeah.
Team Canada goalie. He's done well.
But again, there's a long way to go. And you know what? 7-8 years down the road, probably 1 or 2 stars will have been picked in the 5th, 6th, or 7th round. And we're not talking about them today.
Exactly. I'm only talking about the first 3 taken, right?
Of course.
And then in 2025, the most recent, well, the Russian trend continues. 20th overall, the Blue Jackets took Pyotr Andrianov. 30th overall, San Jose Sharks took Joshua Ravensbergen. And 41st, Carolina Hurricanes took Semyon Frolov, another Russian. Snake, could this Russian trend be kind of like, you see these Shesterkin, these Sorokin that you mentioned that went late. They're like, okay, well, clearly Russia's a goalie factory. Sergei Bobrovsky just won 2 cups in a row. Vasilevsky won 2 cups in a row before that. Is there kind of this notion?
Yeah, the NHL is a copycat league, obviously. So they're going to see what works in the moment, and then it'll influence, what they do at the draft table. The Habs took a few Russian goalies also. Volokin, Radkov, who's playing for Boisvert. I think there's another one, if I'm not mistaken. But look, they have tons of goalies. Alexis Cournoyer, we've talked about it on the show before.
Yeah,
I think it's a very good strategy because at some point you run out of players on your list. What I mean players is defensemen and forwards who you think have a shot at the NHL. You really run out of players at some point. And sometimes you're thinking, okay, if I'm going to throw darts on a possible 4th line guy, might as well go for goalies. Because I think odds of getting a good one are better. And goalies, the names that we mentioned, in the 2010s, you probably noticed that a few of them didn't thrive with the team that drafted them originally.
Right. They had to be traded.
They had to be traded for some reason. Askarov was traded, the one you mentioned.
Spencer Knight.
Spencer Knight was traded. And, a lot of them have started out elsewhere before they became stars. I mean, Hellebuck is an exception, but usually, and if you notice, goalies, as much as important as they are, and that's a general manager from an NHL team told my buddy and co-host Mathias Brunet a few years ago that goalies that have not played in the NHL are not worth much on the trade market. I mean, obviously, a Jacob Fowler or Askarov was worth something because he was worth a late 1st round pick plus a B prospect.
Yeah.
Because he was picked 11th overall. But, think of a guy like, I don't know, let's say Caden Primo when he was very good in the American Hockey League. There were fans, clamoring for, okay, trade him, get a 2nd round pick or they're not worth 2nd round picks, these guys. I'm taking Primo as an example because he's a familiar name here. But I mean, the AHL, the NCAA, European leagues are littered with goalies that right now have no trade value as good as they are. But once they get to the NHL, if they become stars, then their trade value goes up. Imagine Tampa Bay, let's say, wanting to trade Vasilevsky years ago. Or the Habs wanting to trade Carey Price, I don't know, 7, 8, 9 years ago. So that's the thing. But because remember, Yaroslav Halak, he had great playoffs in 2010.
Oh, yeah.
It was fantastic.
The stop signs.
And the stop signs. And basically, I think at some point, we're all expecting that his value was very, very high. Basically, they got a 3rd liner for him, Lars Eller, who's still a decent player. Not criticizing Eller, and he had some moments in Montreal, like a 4-goal game. But overall, those who thought that Halak could garner like a 1st round pick and a top prospect were probably disappointed.
Yeah,
because like I say, unless you're a Price or a Vasilevsky, goalies don't have that much value because of the uncertainty. And I think that's why 20 years ago, 25 years ago, NHL teams did not mind picking a goalie at number one. It's happened twice. One of them was a success. The other one was injured. Fleury.
Rick DiPietro.
Exactly. But very often you could see a guy pick number 2, number 3. You don't see that anymore. Vasilevsky went 19, and Vasilevsky was considered a huge prospect, and he went 19. Spencer Knight was considered an excellent prospect. What did he go? 13th. So probably that. I mean, trends change. Remember? Well, you might not remember because you're too young, but there was a time when Quebecois goalies were very, very much in demand because of Roy, because of Brodeur, Roberto Luongo. So Quebecois goalies, they're not really a thing. Now it's Russian goalies. We'll see what happens. Once 3 or 4 bomb, well, they're going to say, oh, no more Russian goalies. I don't think you can analyze this. I think you have to look at players in sort of a bubble and not as a group. I don't like generalizing, Russian goalies or Swedish forwards or, Ontario Hockey League defensemen. I mean, I don't like generalizing. You have to scout every player individually, regardless of where they come from. And but right now, Russian goalie. Look, they seem to develop them well, I would say.
Yeah.
Although their stats can be misleading because they're not high-scoring leagues, whether it be the MHL, the VHL, or the KHL, they're not high-scoring leagues. So sometimes the stats really pop out. The guy has 1.89 goals against average and a 933 save percentage. You're thinking, wow, this is a future Vezina Trophy winner. Not necessarily because of the style of play, but technically, I think they are sound. I watch goalies sometimes, from Russia, and a lot of them, I think, deserve our attention, and that's why the Habs drafted 2 of them.
So goalies, if anything we've learned doing this exercise, goalies are easily the hardest position to scout for, which is what makes this exercise all the more interesting. It's not an exact science, far from it. So thank you to our listener for the recommendation. This was a lot of fun. Snake, speaking of our listeners, we have 2 mailbag questions to get to. But before we do that, I think it's the perfect opportunity for us to thank our partners who make this show possible. And I want to start off with our friends over at Cheapest T-Shirts. If you're looking for the cheapest prices on wholesale apparel in Canada, you will find it at cheapesttshirts.ca. Proudly Canadian and trusted by thousands of customers from coast to coast, they deliver unbeatable value every day. You'll always get the cheapest prices plus same-day shipping and even next-day delivery, so your order arrives fast. They have over 1,000 products and more than 36 trusted brands like Gildan, Jerseys, American Apparel, MNO, and Comfort Colors. The selection is unmatched. Whether you're shopping for t-shirts, hoodies, crew necks, hats, tote bags, polos, aprons, tank tops, and so much more, you'll find it all in one place. Plus, enjoy free shipping on larger orders and a simple, easy-to-use website that makes online ordering a breeze. Get the cheapest deals in Canada today at cheapesttshirts.ca. And our friends at Betway. Don't select the bus with Betway and get a deposit matchup bonus up to $300 on your first deposit. You can scan the QR code on the screen or click on the link in the details section to create an account and redeem your welcome offer. The offer is only available for new customers. Terms and conditions apply. The offer is not available in Ontario and you must be 18 years or older. Please play responsibly. Okay, let's do it. It's time for the mailbag. And our first question comes from Steve Trombley. Shane, Snake, can you go back in recent history to defensemen being converted to forwards or vice versa, in which the positional switch was beneficial for their careers. Examples are Dustin Byfuglien, Jason Pominville, Brent Burns, Mathieu Dandonneau, Chris Chelios Jr. What do you think of using Arbor Jacki, I'm assuming, to become a bottom six power forward? He has a good shot, can bring physicality, and would be a great fourth liner alongside his brother. This is not the first time that I've heard this suggestion of transforming Arbor Jacki into a forward, but we haven't discussed it on the show yet. So, Snake, why don't you take
I know the listener wants us to focus on recent history, and usually I do because hockey has really, really changed over the years. But I went back like even before my time. I even found one guy who went from defenseman to, believe it or not winger, centerman, and became a top 10 scorer in the NHL. So the reason why I did this is because I want to make a point about Arbor Jacki, which fans might be disappointed, but look, I tell it as I see it. Okay,
of course.
Now, Dustin Byfuglien, for more recent history, he played forward for. He started out as a defenseman, then he played forward for the Blackhawks when they won the Cup in 2010. Then he went to Winnipeg. He played as a defenseman. Then they moved him back to forward because they wanted his big body, to be used in front of the net and in the corners and everything. And he was a very decent hockey player. Byfuglien at the time was disappointed because he liked playing defense. But he did as he was told, and I think it was good. Brent Burns also went from forward to defenseman, went back to forward. Now he's a defenseman in Colorado. He's at the tail end of his career, but he's still around. And I think he was also a very good hockey player, and a very good hockey player, even better than Byfuglien, I would say, because he was a star defenseman for a while. And with his physicality and his shot and his great offensive instinct that he had because he was a forward. So that's two guys, okay, who are very good hockey players who converted or went back and forth. Going back a little bit before, Wendell Clark. Wendell Clark was the number one pick in 1985 in the 1985 draft by Toronto. He was a defenseman in junior hockey. He became a forward in the NHL. Never played defense in the NHL. Or if he did, it was probably a few shifts here and there. But played forward. Was traded to the Quebec Nordiques at the time. Wendell Clark was also a skilled hockey player. Yeah. And he went to forward. I think you know where I'm going with this now.
Absolutely.
During my youth, Gordie Howe's son, Mark Howe. Same thing. Went from defense to forward. Very good for the Philadelphia Flyers. Sergei Fedorov played defense.
Really?
Yeah. When there were injuries on the blue line. So he didn't play much on defense. So I don't think he qualifies. But because Sergei Fedorov is known as a Hart Trophy winner as a forward for Detroit. You might have heard of him. I don't know if you've seen him play, but I think he.
I know who that is.
Yeah. So he was one of the top 4 players in the NHL in the 90s, I would say. And so he doesn't really count, but just to tell you that he went to play defense because he's a skilled guy. Now the last one, I'm going back way before my time. That's my dad's time. Red Kelly. Red Kelly became a coach afterwards. I've known him as a coach when I was a kid. He was also a politician at the federal for the federal government. I think he was a liberal or something. And he started out on defense, was one of the best defensemen in the NHL. Imagine, let's say, I don't know, a Quinn Hughes type of player, probably, because I haven't seen him play. But I'm just making a comparison.
Yeah.
Then he moves to center after a trade. They wanted him to move to center. He was a top 10 scorer. So imagine you take, let's say, a guy like Quinn Hughes or Makar or whatever, another good offensive defenseman, Liam Hudson or whatever, and you convert him to center, and the guy scores 95 points. Now, that's my point. Is Arbor Jacki that good of a hockey player? Because I understand fans who are probably frustrated that on defense, he doesn't play that much. He's not that good. So you're thinking, okay, defense is a harder position than forward to play. Therefore, we will have a tough guy to go in the corner and win puck battles, and he maybe score like a few goals here and there because he has a good shot. I'm not against it in the sense that I think as a defenseman, overall, he could be a liability for the Habs. Okay? Overall, yes, there is merit to what he does, but is he really a big hitter? He's more like a guy who make other team scared, I would say. They're scared of him. They're afraid of him. But he doesn't play that many minutes. Very often he has to be benched or sent, sent to the he watches the game from the stands. What's it going to do if you have him in the playoffs? Because I do think in the playoffs you need physical guys, but is he the type of player who can follow the pace of a game? So I would say that, yeah, it is an option to move him to forward. But is he going to be that useful? Because because the players that I mentioned, and those who do it usually, it's because they're skilled players, so they can adapt from one position to the other. And although it's easier to play forward, can you throw Jack High out and say, okay, you're forward now? I don't know.
It's very different.
I don't know what your take is on this, but Jack High, although I understand his role, I've never been a big fan of his as a hockey player. And I'm wondering if that would be much of an upgrade. I much prefer Florian, by the way, his brother. Yeah.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. I think you have to consider, it's like, do you want Arbor to be moving the guys away from his own net? Or do you want Arbor to be the guy in front of the opposition's net? Right? That's kind of what he would bring. Okay. Use the big body, use the size, cover the goalie, or again, use the big body, use the size to move guys away from his goalie. What's more valuable?
I vote for forward.
So in that case,
because I think defensively is a liability.
Yeah,
he's not very skilled with the puck. I mean, but it could be worth trying before you give up on him or before you trade him or whatever. I think it would be worth trying. Look, what do the Habs have to lose? I mean, a fourth line, you have nothing to lose when you try guys on the fourth line.
No, exactly.
Whether they be called players that you call up from Laval or free agent signings, whatever, you have nothing to lose. These guys don't earn a lot of money. They don't have long-term contracts usually, and they don't play that many minutes.
No, exactly.
So I think I would try, because as a defenseman, I don't see it. Reinbacher is coming along, and I don't see Jack High being Engstrom. Yeah, I don't see Jack High being a useful defenseman on a championship team. As a fourth liner, maybe playing 40 games a year, 50 games a year, you never know.
And maybe it's an extra motivation as well to play on a line with his brother. Maybe that could actually raise his level another notch. Who knows? You have to try it, right, to find out. So that's an interesting point, and we're all for experimenting. So all right, let's get to our second question of the day. This one comes from Sredinsky. I hope I pronounced that all right. Great podcast, guys. Thank you. Appreciate that. Still waiting to hear Snake talk about what happened to Matt Pumple and Michael Dalcol. Just joking. But hey, we're going to actually answer this. Snake, what happened to these guys?
Yeah, I love answering these questions. I love about my past, because this gentleman has been probably following me for a long time, because those players were drafted a million years ago. And he wants to tease me about my prediction about them. Yeah. Look, what happened to them? Matt Pumple was drafted in 2011 by Ottawa in the late first round. I think it was 25th or 26th overall pick, and he was a decent goal scorer in the Ontario Hockey League. And honestly, I thought he was going to be a 25 to 30 goal scorer in the NMHL. I compared him at the time to, you might remember, Michael Ryder from the Habs.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Michael Ryder, who was not much of a player, but he was a scorer for a while. And I thought that Pumple carve himself a career, maybe as a middle of the lineup player who could score goals. What happened is he didn't start. He started out well in the sense that in the American Hockey League he had some good time, but Ottawa for some reason never found a spot for him. Maybe they didn't like his play away from the puck. I don't know what it is, but at some point he went to the Rangers. He had a hat trick. That evening, I thought, okay,
Here it is.
Here it is. Here's Matt Pumple. And then he faded away. Yeah. So I think there was the problem with a lot of these guys who don't have much of a game besides scoring is that they tend to fade away. Because once they're 8, 10, 12 games without scoring a goal, they become useless. And I think I underestimated that 15 years ago when I pumped his tires a bit and thinking he was going to be a 30-goal scorer. And I learned my lesson that basically one-dimensional goal scorers, you have to be careful. Some of them make it, but if they do, usually they add something to their arsenal of skills or qualities, because otherwise you don't make it. So that's for Pumple. As for Dal Cole was a 5th overall pick.
Yeah.
So I don't think I was the only one who liked Michael Dal Cole. Drafted in 2014. I liked him a lot. And I thought he was going to be not necessarily a superstar, but I thought he was going to be a star. A 75, 80-point player in the NHL. What happened with Dal Cole is that I think, there's two things, okay? And first of all, maybe I think I underestimated the fact that his skating was very, very weak. Okay. So for one Mark Stone, there's a lot of guys, if they don't improve their skating, they're done like dinner. And Michael Dal Cole was drafted at the time, the year before Connor McDavid was. And it seems like after Connor McDavid took off, the game became faster and faster in the NHL. And Dal Cole was done like dinner. So I think that's what I underestimated. I underestimated his skating. Now, do I think the Islanders developed him well? No, because if you look at the Islanders draft history back in the day, it wasn't great. Griffin Reinhardt, Nino Niederreiter, who became a decent player once he was traded. And there's a couple of other guys like that. Look at the Islanders' first-round pick. And you're thinking, okay, that can be a coincidence. They're all bad. They're all picked in the top 5. And once, a guy is traded, like Niederreiter, then he's good. Dal Cole, I think he finished his career in the minors. I don't know if he's still playing anymore. But again, that's one thing that I learned. Be careful of the skating. You learn from your mistakes, your scouting mistakes. And also you have to look at the game as it is now. Like you can't base, the skills of yesterday are not necessarily the skills of tomorrow that you need to perform. Of course, if you're a McDavid or a Celebrini, it doesn't matter. You're a fantastic player. Yeah. But if you're just like a very good player, then you have to see, will the game translate well to today's NHL? Not the 1970s NHL, not the 2000s NHL, not even the 2010 NHL, but the NHL of today and the future. So that's what happened with those two guys. And, longtime listeners will probably have fun writing down, names of players that I evaluated at the time. And I don't mind. We can put it in the mailbag and I'll answer the questions.
There's always misses, and NHL teams have misses as well. Yeah. If the draft was an exact science, the show wouldn't exist, right? So exactly, we're having fun doing this. We're revisiting the bad ones with the good ones, and we hope you're along for the ride. Snake, very humble of you to take this question. I applaud you, and listen, I've had bad takes before too, probably worse than yours. So don't worry about it. We all do. Anything else to add before we wrap this one up?
No, on Thursday, we're going to talk a little bit more about Michigan.
Yes.
And lots of stuff, mailbag, ideas from listeners. I'm having a lot of fun doing this show with you.
Oh, likewise. And whenever the World Junior rosters are announced, we're going to break it all down, okay?
Next week.
Right here.
Yeah.
So make sure you subscribe, tune in, turn on that notification bell. We upload a show every Monday and every Thursday. We're pretty consistent with that. And we will warn you if ever there is a change to the schedule. So that'll do it for us today. For Simon the Snake Boisvert, I'm producer Shane. Thank you to Sammy and Juliana back at Master Control. And happy birthday to Rosa. This has been another edition of the Sick Podcast. Trust the process. We'll see you Thursday.
And that's a wrap. Hope you don't miss us too much until next time. Follow the Sick Podcast, Trust the Process on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Google Play, and Apple Podcasts.